Hi, we are Team 15A. My name is Chanel Chand and my KLA is Maths and Business.
Hello, my name is Wajida Sari and my KLA is History and English.
Hi, my name is Michael Carmona and my KLA is Business Studies and History.
And I'm Daniel Watts and mine is just English.
Our proposal recommends the use of flipped classroom model to promote meaningful learning. Meaningful learning is an active process that promotes a wider, deeper understanding of concepts. It is the result of an interaction between new and previous knowledge and produces a long-term change of knowledge and skills. As teachers, we often struggle for time between covering the contents of the syllabus and focusing on fine-tuning the skills of our students. Due to this rushed coverage of content, students often fail to recognize the value of learning and are often unable to connect the utility of same to their experience. The flipped learning model requires students to gather information prior to their scheduled class time, allowing teachers in class time to make meaning of that learning. Teachers are able to use their time for more engaging activities, allowing students to work through problems, advance concepts, engage in collaborative learning, and most importantly, to rethink and apply all aspects of the learning in an environment which promotes meaningful learning. This proposal is designed for the senior and selective strand of students at Moorebank High School, which is the 7 to 10 co-educational selective and comprehensive school situated in southwest Sydney. According to CARA, the school has a diverse population of students, with 72% of students being from language background other than English and 2% of students identifying as Indigenous. Majority of the school's population are from low socioeconomic group, with approximately 58% of students coming from middle to lower SES backgrounds. These figures indicate that the students at the school come from diverse backgrounds and that there may be a significant need for differentiation when catering for their learning needs. For meaningful learning to occur, students must willingly engage in activities which are active, constructive, intentional, authentic, and cooperative. These characteristics will be embedded within the proposed program and used across all KLAs. Wajida and I will be discussing this in detail. Being actively involved in the task and activities requires students to manipulate parameters of their learning and observe the results of their manipulation. This can be achieved by incorporating inquiry-based questioning and think-pair-share activities. Such activities prompt students to reflect on their experiences and consider questions from different perspectives before reaching a conclusion, hence promoting higher-order thinking. There is a discrepancy between what learners observe and what they understand. To bridge this gap, the activities design should be constructive. By puzzling these two aspects together and reflecting on this process, learners integrate their new experience and their prior knowledge about the world, or they establish goals for what they need to learn in order to make sense of what they observe. This process, which initiates meaningful learning, can be achieved by incorporating activities based on the 5E model, which aims to engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. When learners are actively and willingly trying to achieve a cognitive goal, they think and learn more because they're fulfilling an intention. As such, flipped lessons should clearly identify the goals of learning so that the students can articulate their learning around same, while viewing the resources related to the lesson and completing the set activities in class.
Okay. Often lessons are removed from their natural context. In order to be able to cover the curriculum more efficiently, the use of flipped classroom removes the time restraints when it comes to delivery of content, allowing students to view the material within its full context. This combined with the use of meaningful real-world tasks stimulates case study and problem-based learning activities in class. It is not only better understood and remembered by learners, but also is easily applicable to new situations. Therefore, rather than teaching learners to memorize rules and techniques, activities should be embedded with real-life, useful context for learners to practice using these ideas. As humans, we naturally work together in learning and knowledge building communities, exploiting each other's skills and appreciating each other's knowledge in order to solve problems and perform tasks. The use of collaborative learning activities in class not only promotes social skills, but also increases students' direction and engagement, which will lead to better learning opportunities in the classroom. developed personal and social capabilities, establishes positive relationships, assists students to make responsible decisions, works effectively in teams, and handle challenging situations constructively, hence stimulates critical and creative thinking. These activities also act as differentiation strategies, which supports learning amongst students, whereby the academically capable peers in the group aid the learning and understanding of their peers who may be struggling to understand the concepts. Off to you, Michael.
Thanks, Wahida. In order for us to implement this program effectively in our school, all teachers will be advised of the project. But the project will specifically run with Year 11 and 12 classes and or selective classes. Now, teachers will be requested to volunteer to run this flipped model in their teaching methods, and they'll be required to apply a prescriptive method of the flipped classroom model in their teaching methods. Now, the project will run for one term initially. There will be 3 key requirements in order for the project to be run successfully. First, there'll need to be unanimous participation from all parties. That includes teachers, aides, students, and parents, caregivers. They all need to be aware and advised of what processes involved in a flipped classroom in order for it to work. Second of all, the resources need to be available. All students must have access to technology and internet at all times in order for the flipped classroom model to work effectively. And thirdly, there'll need to be some clear expectations on behavior and attitude towards study. Students need to understand that they will take ownership of their learning, and the teacher's role will change to that of a facilitator instead of the traditional teacher role. The 3 main benefits teachers should find from this program will be, first, a focused teaching time. Time in the classroom will be spent on developing the skills and abilities of the students and assessment rather than on just the delivery of content. Second of all, because of the format of the classroom, the learning will be student-centered and students will be empowered to engage with the content in a time and manner that suits their needs, effectively as a form of differentiation. And thirdly, using technology correctly should allow students to gain high levels of student engagement in their classrooms.
We set out to define measurable outcomes for Moorebank. A teacher must be able to create content that allows students access to the questions and problems. It is a common knowledge that all students do not learn in the same way and will require different levels of intervention to achieve learning outcomes. However, for the flipped model, content is delivered to students directly at home, and problems are worked on in class. Therefore, what evidence of learning can the teacher collect, and what evidence of learning can be presented to the stakeholders of the child? A teacher intending to adopt the flipped classroom needs to take a structured approach to assessing the progress of a student. I will speak about a few examples in this segment that can be modified to accommodate any classroom. To first create any form of measurement, intentions need to be defined in their scope so that teachers, students, and stakeholders always understand what should be achievable in the content provided. For example, students undergoing the study of poetry for a unit, they might come across a lesson that defines terms such as genre, poetry techniques, etc. The learning intentions for this package would be as follows. Concept of genre is taught, poetic techniques are defined. The initial step of including learning intentions clearly defines what subjects are being taught and defines the scope of the measurement of success. The formative step is the inclusion of success criteria. This is the content that can be measured and is defined by how well students are able to answer the questions in the content packages. Using the previous example, the success criteria for genre could be that a student is able to name different genres and define their thematic features, or annotate their poetic techniques. The range in which a student can perform these skills become the measurable as success for what a student can reasonably achieve for content and outcomes. The final stage for formulating measurable success are exit slips. These slips can be used for several different applications within the flipped classroom. The exit slip is a post-test which defines what a student has understood from their content packages. If a student can answer an exit slip to an acceptable standard, then they may move forward to access new content. The educator also benefits from exit slips as they can flag areas of concern for student learning. If one child is not able to achieve a specific outcome in content package, then the teacher will be able to provide targeted intervention for that specific skill. Furthermore, the flagging areas of concern provide direction for classroom instruction, as the educator has evidence of areas that need to be taught to students. This evidence fills the criteria for observable, measurable outcomes. In conclusion, learning can be targeted for specific classrooms, and no student is left without a way to access the content. On to you, Eugene.
Our measurable goals that will inform our continuous improvement are student-centered learning, increased student engagement, focused teaching time, improve effective use of skills and concepts required for the subject or topic on hand. We will be able to measure improvement and continuously improve through evaluation of surveys from teachers, surveys from students, consistent observation, artifact evaluation from summative and formative assessment tasks. These are all qualitative and quantitative research data that will assist us in understanding where teachers and students need further support and resources. The observations will be done through the classroom teacher consistently, and there will be increments of teachers outside of that classroom coming to observe to understand whether the model is being implemented correctly and there is a positive outcome out of it. Artifact evaluations of past and current formative and summative assessment tasks are vital in understanding where students have improved through these goals. We thank you for listening to our proposal and taking it into consideration.